And the PSS approved / Otaku Insights topic for tonight is the Luffy versus Kizaru fight that debuted in One Piece this past week, or debuted in One Piece 2 weeks ago and has been ongoing.
Oh my goodness!
And Tim, I will let you take it away.
It was beautiful. Now I get it. Gear 5 is not everybody's cup of tea, but when you're starting to really see and I like how they're developing it, and that's what I really want to talk about. Is I like how they're developing it, because when you're really looking at it, it differs between who he's fighting. It differs. Because think about it. Kizaru as a force, to be honest, I think he might actually be the actual fleet admiral, because when you look at it, bro, it's how do you fight light? You send in a Looney Tune who defies everything. And that, when you really saw even people had to freeze frame those images to see that fight. There was one part where Luffy, in the midst of that, because he's also moving at the same speed, he fell asleep on Kizaru's chest.
I saw that screenshot.
And I was like, bro, that is wild, bro. That is really wild. It's funny because, yes, he's a Looney Tune. He's literally defying things. When Bugs Bunny would draw something, he just creates a portal hole. Not saying Luffy has to go that far.
I mean, he already has. He made goggles out of his hair. I mean, he's Bugs Bunny.
And even just the story elements, when he surprised Vegapunk when he was inside the place, they was is he here yet? Is he here yet? And they turned around, he's right there. And he's like, oh yeah, bro, sorry about your Megazord. As Vegapunk just looking at him, was like, all right, you already here to kill me, but you ain't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be a jerk about it. And even just the more backstory with Sentomaru, and it's bro, once Lucy sent that transmission, what they did is bro, it just got chaotic, man. The man just went from level 1 to level 3 like that. Like that, bro. Bro, this dude. And what I also really liked was the level of trauma they still have. Even though they've come so far in these 2 years, it's bro, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And even in terms of everybody's development is starting to really show, because to be honest, Lucy thought Zoro was going to be a pushover, because I remember when they first fought, he kicked Zoro to the side. And then when he saw Zoro, whoa, what's going on here? He's confused. He's like, oh no, bro, you thought.
Yeah.
You thought. Nah,
You're not getting that rematch with Luffy. It's not happening. This is where this is it. I'm the captain now.
I'm your nemesis now, bro. You had your moment,
right? Now you see what I packed up Kaku. You next, my boy.
So I really appreciate they're covering very different fundamentals. Even Kizaru, the part where they freeze frame when they said he used his powers to glide on water.
Yeah,
because bro, it's physics.
Because light reflects off of water. Yeah,
I was like, wow, that does make sense. And it's unless you're a person who study these things or even have simple life facts, you would not know that. No, I get it. Yes, as a power up, it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I kind of feel with what the level of stuff that they're dealing with, it's bro, I mean, I do feel all right, yes, as this develops, give it some form of boundaries, bro. Because you don't want to become too Looney Tune. And that's my only fear. That is my only fear. But then watching this fight, I was just there, bro. I was smiling the entire time, bro. I was smiling the entire time. And then what I really liked about Luffy is, and I think this is also an appreciation, the fix what Dragon Ball messed up was, every power up still serves a purpose, because there was a part where he was doing Bound Man and Snake Man. So these things still serve a purpose.
Which I felt he should have fought a little bit longer in those forms personally. I'm the fact that I get it that Kizaru kind of ultimate moved him, right? So I'm I get that Gear 5 had to come out at that point, but it's advanced Conqueror's hockey at this point. It ain't the same. This ain't even the same Snake Man that fought what's his name? Katakuri. Yeah, it's you're on another level of hockey manipulation at this point. You
But I
can't
always
hit
felt like
Kizaru at all?
I always felt like Conqueror's hockey was always like a shockwave attacked. Like they just do it as like almost like a Vegeta final, like not death, but like final
EMP,
explosion.
human EMP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you do it and everybody just start foaming them out around you who don't have the strong, because remember hockey is willpower. So
Right.
whoever doesn't have the strongest willpower just falls out.
But they've also shown that it can be used as like a almost like a force, right? So like when they have like Whitebeard and Shanks clash, and it's like their swords split the heavens out, even touching, or even when Kaido and Luffy punch each other, and like the rocks start to break apart, even though their fists don't touch each other. It's like you can still use it as like a physical manifestation of like your body, basically. If you know, like it's just like, where was that? You had to go Gear 5?
I mean, we'll see. Like I said, bro, and remember that's also another topic we talked about in terms of scaling. Sometimes like One Piece just like it's just like, oh, but technically does that mean that they're stronger than this person? I mean, that's not necessarily true. 'Cause, sometimes technique does
Yeah.
compensate for a raw power. Cause that's one thing I was like, bro, like so a Kanu, I get it, magma, okay. But like, what does that really mean in terms of light? Light itself.
I mean, you saw what I said in the group chat. Everyone's getting a retcon. So imagine, so if Kizaru can do all this now, imagine what they're gonna have a Kano do when he fights again for real, for real. Just imagine. Like I said, if hockey worked the way it does, apparently, Luffy would have died. Luffy would have never made it out of Marineford. He would have been RIP the minute he hit that ice. If hockey works the way it works now,
Luffy should have died when he got frozen by the man on the bike on the ocean, riding the bike on the ocean. The ocean. Yeah.
The same man who we saw go punch for punch with Garp, who punches battleships to get his fist stronger. Again, if hockey works the way it works now, Luffy should have been dead. Because they didn't learn these techniques during the time skip. They've known these techniques.
But you know what? Actually, no. Some of them did.
Should have ended at Inaru.
Some of them
should have ended at Inaru.
Some of them did, but the admirals didn't, Tim.
But I also did like I would say the dynamics of his crew, because you remember when York was explaining like she was still in control, but then you found out she was actually captured. I did like that. I was like, bro, they found a way to defeat her overnight. And when Luffy is like expressing his level of power, I like how all members of his teammates, step in, like, because even like he's like, yeah, so this is our list of demands, because it's a hostage situation. Like, oh, this is our list of demands. Saturn's like, oh, so how's everybody doing over there? Oh, I mean, we're fine. I mean, some of us are, and Nico was like, shut up, hang up the phone. And I, as a leader, when you think of like community and stuff like that, actually was, I like that level of dialogue. Like, no, she's like, bro, shut up, hang up the phone. He's trying to get, and then you realize, bro, we still got them two right there. You think just because we was fighting with them, like everything is good?
It's one of those things where like the Straw Hats are never at their best writing when they're together. When they're together, the writing and character interaction is peak interaction every single time. Even from Alabasta. Who's on this phone? You can call me Mr. Prince. Goated. Like it's just certain things where it's like when they have certain interaction with each other, that's when I feel like the dialogue is the strongest. I feel like in power scaling, I'm like, I wonder if One Piece kind of borrows some elements from Bleach. Remember how in Bleach is like up until Ichigo became Mary Sue, it was about matchups, right? Where it's like Kenpachi might be stronger than Tosin, but Tosin has the advantage because his Bankai lets him see in the dark, pretty much. So it's like you have these things where it's like if you're a close range fighter fighting against a long range fighter, even if you have more power, you could still lose. So that's I'm like when I'm seeing Luffy versus Kizaru, I'm like, I don't know if I would say Kizaru is as strong or stronger than Kaido. He's just a different kind of opponent. Because like you said, he's light. He's just at any point he could teleport to the sky. At any point he's faster than you.
He could Janimba fade behind you at the speed of light, bro.
And then make shadow clones or light clones, technically. Light clones.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous, dog.
Yeah.
But
and when you look at it, the two men who he viewed as a formidable opponent. They were all number twos. It was Relay and Ben. When Ben Beckman had him at gunpoint 2 ships away.
Yeah. Even Marco the Phoenix was the first one to kick him into the ice during Marineford.
Really? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all number twos.
Mm-hmm.
All number twos.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he's a different kind of opponent. And I feel like that's where I feel the intensity of these battles really show, because like even look at Zoro, like you're fighting a jaguar in a cloud jungle, like who's the predator and who's the prey. Do show up behind you and you're like, oh, you thought. Nah,
I
bro.
mean, that's Minority Hunter's home turf. An African jungle with animals? What?
And you kind of look like Prince to me. Damn.
Advanced Conqueror hockey it is. But Ezra, what were your thoughts on Luffy versus Kizaru?
I think Kizaru has some of the rawest interests in One Piece.
He does.
Yeah.
Cause that supernova arc,
He was terrifying.
man,
He was terrifying.
family. The buildup was so crazy. Cause first, I ain't never seen somebody get a bullet shot out of him and went through them. And and he just kept rubbing his chin. And he looks. The thing is, with Kizaru's design is so spot on for me, because like you would think someone with light abilities wouldn't be so laid back,
Mm-hmm.
right? But his facial structure is laid back,
You
so
would
you
think
can't even read
you
him.
think he would be more like a Quicksilver type of
Yeah,
demeanor.
you're right.
Yeah.
You would think he'll be like a Flash and super energetic and charged, but he's like, he's more chill and a different type of chill than the other admiral.
Okay.
But during this fight, he does lose his cool. And I remember that in the manga, he has a moment of anger. And that's where you kind of see like the Marines are really losing control over this world. And like these admirals, bro, they're falling apart.
No, I don't think the admirals are falling apart. I think they're deeper than what people portrayed them to be, because that his friend?
Yeah.
Ain't Vegapunk
Mhm.
his friend?
One of his
Yeah.
And
close
so
friends.
now he's conflicted. So he's not, to me, he's not fighting at full potential. He's
I saw that theory on the internet. I don't buy it. I
No,
don't buy it.
I don't
no,
think he's at
no,
full.
he
That's his
is.
homie, dog.
He is. He is.
You know what I'm saying? So I just don't think it is, bro. Because he had ain't that his nephew too?
No, like it's more of
Nah.
like a
It's
honor.
like an honorary uncle, basically.
But you know, with One Piece, that might as well be your actual uncle.
You know,
So
you're absolutely right.
you know, so that's consistent.
When you consider
That's
adoption,
consistent. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Because there was so many things that I was watching from this. Because to me, I'm like, okay, Luffy. What's the point of this form if it's just gonna be Looney Tunes? I mean, if that's the case, only Kenpachi could beat Luffy.
I mean, he has I think the one thing that the anime has done a good job of, even though I still don't really like Gear 5, is like it shows that he really does have reality bending powers. Like that is his
I
ability.
think it goes back to, sorry to cut you off. I think it goes back to the topic of freedom. The topic of freedom and what a pirate, really stands for. But then of course, when you think of like animation and production, freedom. Like he has freedom. Like he's doing, like in a sense, almost like Deadpool-ish type elements. Like he's messing with the world around him. And I think that's what it is. It's freedom. And I do feel like Gear 5, depending on how you feel about it, it all comes from perspective. And I think that's where it has such a variety, where this particular form, you could build off it a lot. You could, I wouldn't say a lot, but like there's definitely some room for a lot of growth here. Because first of all right, when I looked
He's
at
that
Gear 4 was like a symbolism of his 2 years of training. Remember, like all the attacks were named after Beast.
Mhm.
That's he was training with, he was on Skull Island, bro.
Yeah, pretty much for 2
The man was
years.
on Skull Island, bro. Like the man was training with giant-sized gorillas and all that other stuff. And it's like, so this is truly an awakened form. And remember, like I said, bro, these these mythic Zoan god other characters,
Mm,
they're mythological for a reason, bro. So that means
yeah.
they do defy human. Like remember, like Vagabond said, like they've reached the heights of the gods. And to be honest, like I said, that's what we thought the Logias were, because technically, oh yeah, you shoot them, but yeah, there's a hole and they just instantly regenerate.
Mm.
But then now, ever since you introduce armament hockey, oh yeah, no, we can still punch you now, bro. And
But
then
I,
they just
but I do feel like the awakenings, especially from the anime, is starting to showcase like that maybe the user gets possessed by the fruit power a little bit. Like if you
yes,
look at the way Luffy and Zoro, it's like he's legit licking his lips, like moving like a full feline. And then Luffy, the man is cackling like a devil the entire time. Like he seems like it's Luffy, but like he's like wrestling control from like the powers of being
I
like,
think Doflamingo did say that though.
hmm,
I think he did say, yeah, when you reach an awakened state, you kind of like your personality changes in a sense. Because
hmm,
even like how Luffy shifts into Gear 5, like he does like an animal thing. Like, remember, he was beating his chest like a gorilla.
hmm,
And it's just like, and his hair turns white and he just looks up and it's like, got the red eye stares. And it's just like, yeah, bro, like the man,
turns
it
into the
kind of was
mask.
giving me like Roger
Jim
Rabbit,
carries the mask.
like Roger Rabbit type of vibes, like when the villain revealed he's actually a Looney Tune.
It gave
Yeah,
me Jim carries the mask.
yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah,
Which which ties
could.
into Loki.
I
Yeah, so
know.
like
I
So,
know.
so yeah, like Kizu has some of the best interests, man. I mean, well, he did the Scratchman album, R.I.P. man. That right there, that's when I paused. That's when I paused the TV and I was just like, I sat for like 2 minutes. I ain't never seen anything like that before in my life, man. He Kamehameha beamed himself in front of homie. And then just the sweet chin music he was giving everybody, man.
Yeah. Yep.
And so Kizaru is amazing, man. He's starting to grow on me, man. I didn't want to like him.
Mm.
But yeah, now, man, I'm Kizaru. I'm a Kizaru fan, man. I'm a Kizaru fan. I'm a Kizaru fan. So for me, I'm like, okay, so if this is what he can do, what in the world is the magma guy gonna do? You know? And so and then what is Blackbeard gonna do with you know what, like, and I'm just like,
its true form.
yeah, his true form. And so my thing is, like, what takes me out of Luffy is like I feel like I'm watching Mr. McPicklex from an episode of
To some degree,
Superman,
you are.
and
To
I'm
some
like,
degree.
that's not fun. I mean, okay.
No, it is fun. It is. It is fun, bro. Cause like, all right. Cause like, remember, like it's like
So
what
those were
Vagabond.
your favorite episodes of Superman,
No, I would not say that. Definitely, that's two different things. But yeah, I
but it's the
just
same
kind of
character,
feel
same
like
feats,
it
technically.
just no. But then the thing about it is, Superman is a different type of world, bro. Like how you said, man, One Piece, like especially in the world of anime versus animation, is like they've really reached a level of peak where like, all right, so now Luffy has this potential, has this new power. I'm really wondering, like, well, how are the other guys going to keep up? Because, like, even App pointed out a very good point. Give Usopp a devil fruit weapon. You might as well.
He needs it.
You might as well give Zoro and Sanji Conqueror's hockey. Just to complete the set.
I mean, Zoro already
Um,
has it.
oh, for real, he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Nico Robin.
She
Well,
needs hockey of
apparently,
some sort.
they said she has connections to Emu, so I think they might just do like a Nanao type thing, or I mean not Nanao, the girl from Bleach who got the little banjo fan. Like, give her some type of technique that's gonna
Mm.
randomly do something amazing. Um, Nami, it's
Z-
whatever.
Zeus is pretty broken. Like I'm not gonna any person that doesn't have like intangibility, that's a pretty strong baton. Like my climate baton can literally become a thundercloud at in any moment. That's not. She ain't chump.
Just give her more elemental powers.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
That's what
Like
I'm
she
saying.
ain't
Just
chump.
give her,
Like
just give her more elemental powers. Chopper, Monster Ball, Frankie. Oh, he'll turn his arm into a blood sport cannon and shoot. Um, and Jinbei is Jinbei. You already know Jinbei. But all right, I'm about to give you this submarine seismic toss.
right. This
So like,
14,000 layer brick fist karate fishman technique.
or like or become like the Mizukage. Bam,
Yeah.
shotgun, water.
He already
So like,
has the shark bullets.
yeah. So like I said, man, it's like I just like the fact that there's so much room for growth in this area because, like, yeah, bro, like when you look at it, and since the elders are getting like, bro, you're literally fighting demons. Like you're
Yeah.
fighting dudes who like you can't really explain their powers because like all you could do is
Yeah.
go by Japanese mythology and see what they do. But it's like, yeah, bro, it's like, like, how do you deal with stuff like that? So I mean, you gotta add a
I don't
certain
know,
level
man.
of madness to it. A certain level. Certain level. Like even the extent of Bonnie's powers, I was like, wait, what?
Her powers are kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie.
It
What's the
is.
powers?
She has essentially age manipulation, but she can
Oh,
do it
okay.
to anything. So like she could rust a pipe or unrust a pipe. She can anything that she comes in contact with or coats with her powers, she can manipulate its age.
So she's Poochie.
Um, not really. I'd say she's like a better version. Remember that one sidekick villain from One Piece Film Z, the girl that fought Zoro?
Hmm. Hmm.
She's kind of like that, but she can do it in either direction.
Okay.
Because she in the
Okay.
movie she made Nami younger, she made Robin younger, and she made Brook younger. His bones looked,
Exactly.
not as
Yeah.
old.
Yeah. But yeah, I because my thing is like, okay, with Luffy, it's like the fight's not exciting because I never feel that there are actual stakes. Like, how does he take damage? Is if he's just
I
gonna
mean,
laugh
what we
this
did see, he
off?
did
You know what I'm
get
saying?
he did get cut.
Yeah, but I think
But
what
then to me,
Joy's
it's
saying
like
is
it
like,
doesn't even matter because he's
yeah.
just gonna turn into a ball and slap himself
But
together. And
but when you really look at it though, all right, okay. In the Kaido fight, I did feel like there was some stakes involved because when you look at Lucy and Kizaru, I feel like it's kind of like these are leftovers of their past before their failures.
Mhm.
Like, because like how you said, like, bro, like Lucy feels like Cell when Pycon showed up. Like, you had your moment of shine, but now you just had your time.
Mhm.
And to be honest, like, and that's how I kind of feel like with some of the Marine level characters, it's like, yeah, the admirals, y'all are not really a threat like that to us anymore because we've reached new heights. So it's kind of like, yes, you're still leftovers. Like, even in the sense of like, we understand you're dangerous, yes. But then that's where the power of the techniques that they've learned. Like, so they're also actively growing to have more faith in their abilities. And
True.
you remember,
But I feel like Sanji's chump. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean,
Sanji's getting put on fraud alert from here on out. Like I don't know. I'm like, because again, like you said, Tim, in the chat, it's like you get the sense that Luffy and Zoro aren't too far off from each other in terms of raw power. But with Sanji, I'm like, Sanji, what are you doing? Get up there and kick Kizaru. What are you doing? You running? Zoro wouldn't have ran. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand, like, oh, I gotta rescue Bonnie. It's like, no, 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 no. That's not what the quote unquote right wing of the Pirate King would say. He would get busy. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Sanji, like lately, is just like,
that matchup makes sense too. They both kickers.
nah,
but
to fight light though,
I'm
bro.
kind of glad that they didn't go that route. It would have been too obvious, and we know
Yeah,
Oda doesn't do that.
yeah.
We know like he does not like. Because even with this fight, it's like Zoro usually fights another swordsman. It's always somebody with a sword or some type of blade. And now he's fighting Lucci, who's technically a hand-to-hand combat. Like Zoro doesn't really fight people who don't have blades of some sort. Even Pika, who like we thought didn't do anything, ended up having a blade. He fights swordsmen.
Yeah, like, cause like even like I said, bro, like, cause like when it goes back to Kizaru, like I said, the only people who've ever like had like a good or I would say advantage of him were number twos. Like, yeah, relay, people don't even try with old boy. They don't.
Hmm.
They don't. Once he shows up, they're like, all right,
Right? You
pack
know
it up, bro.
what? I think we've done what we came to do.
We will try this another
Yeah.
day. And then, like I said, like, Ben Beckman, bro, you about to get sniped with these C bullets,
Mm,
C stone bullets. Like if you even move an inch. And of course, Marco is Marco. Marco's the Phoenix, bro.
yeah.
Stylish. So, like I said, man, like they're trying to bring the best that they can. Like I get it, bro. Like the Looney Tune power. I laughed at it when I first saw it. I was like, bro, if it, and that's where the part I've hit. If it makes sense, all right, let's see where it goes. But still have some boundaries where you could still have a level of grounding. But then to be
I
honest, bro, remember like they said, this is the final period or arc. But in One Piece language, bro, that could be 5 years from now.
But my question for both of y'all, and spoiler alert warning for anybody who's just an anime only watcher. How do you, Tim, then give credence to what's coming up in the manga where Bonnie is able to copy Luffy's Gear 5 powers?
That was the weird part to me. Cause I was like, so is that an awakening part? Or I did kind of feel like, all right, I get it. They trying to level her in this fight because, like, to be honest, bro, like, what did she? Because to be honest,
Exactly.
I thought she was done when she got captured.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, and I get it. They're trying to add more to her character because, like, bro, this fight, when you really understand the full scale, is very chaotic.
Mm?
Like, I was surprised certain people who survived. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, I thought this was about to be like a Rogue One, like, oh, hey, everybody, some people about to die.
Yeah.
I
Especially once Vegapunk goes, you're just like, oh snap. Well, I mean,
yeah, well, the Vegapunks survived through,
technically, yeah.
yeah, and then they kicked a certain person out, but
Yeah.
it's just like yeah, it's interesting, bro. I mean, did I like it? Not
Because yeah,
necessarily.
as I'm saying, like that's my thing. I'm like, to Jory's point, I think like granted it was like a one-off, but I'm like, I think that starts to show a little bit more leanings of like this is gonna get more ridiculous before it makes sense. And I don't know if I like that.
I I have faith in it. I will say my faith extends to the extent of how this Loki fight is going to go.
Hmm.
Because this is going to be a very interesting art, bro. Like a lot of people like are heavily invested into this. So I do feel like this particular arc, especially with the Holy Knights, I do feel like this new level of development is. I think this is going to be the pinnacle point where we're going to see like, okay, what are these characters really capable of
Hmm.
moving forward? Like, what is going to be truly established with them? What are they going to work on? And what is to come of this? Because I feel like, yes, they finally entered a territory where, like, because when you look at it, yes, like leftovers, like I said, before their previous failures, it was Doflamingo. He was technically the last of the
The warlords.
warlords when
Mm.
you look at it. But then when you look at power scaling, but it's like, all right, but you beat Crocodile. So, but where does Doflamingo stand? Because when they fought each other, them dudes was just like, bro, there's a meme of them, like, of an actual flamingo kicking a crocodile. Looking for them.
yeah, because Del Flamenco was on another level.
Yeah, he was a
And
problem.
it's like, and it's just like, but then it goes back to what you just said, and I think that's the beauty of One Piece. It depends on the opponent that you are fighting, and because look
I
at
think Del Flamenco always felt like he was stronger than
Doflamingo was
Crocodile.
the last of like technically the last paramecia villain they've had.
Mhm.
Everybody else is just, we got a couple of Logias here because they're the heads of the Marines. Now we're fighting. Now we're not even fighting Zoans no more.
Yeah,
We're
Wano
fighting
was his own
mythical.
focused arc for sure.
We are fighting mythical Zoans. That's a
Mm.
whole sub tier.
Undying demon spawn Japanese deities. Like,
Or gods.
yeah.
So now I'm thinking like, well, was Eneru really just a lightning Logia or is he Raijin?
As
I
much as I
mean,
like his powers, I hope that he never comes back.
yeah. Yeah, keep him away.
Skype
He'll come back.
PTSD for life.
He
It
got
just
one of the most puzzling devices, the Arc Maxim.
yeah.
So
And then if
he's
you look
gonna
at
come back.
the manga one shots, he actually makes it to the moon. So I don't know what that means in terms of the story, but that's what's happening currently.
And yeah, it's okay. So he's lightning. Kizaru's light. Luffy takes damage when it's convenient for the
When the
story.
plot needs to happen.
So it's like
His only weakness is stamina.
I'm like the only person that can defeat him is Doctor Manhattan because he eats food. Because Luffy eats food. That means okay, there's material there, matter. Boom,
Yeah.
that's it.
I
Or
mean,
Scarlet Witch.
Luffy literally ate light this past episode and didn't die.
Yeah.
So it's
Or Magneto, because Magneto turned off the planet. Oh, that X-Men was amazing, boy. My
yeah.
goodness. I'm waiting for the next season. But
I mean, but like I said, man, I
yeah.
mean, it was an interesting fight. I mean, I was like, because I was like, bro, I couldn't even be mad at it. I was like, how do you fight light?
Mhm.
You send in a Looney Tune.
Yeah.
That's
And then your climax is what for the rest of the season, bro?
you
That's my
can't,
thing.
man,
It's just no
you can't be
stakes.
like that, bro. Like, no, trust me, One Piece, I will give him that credit. They have been holding out in terms of surprises, bro. Because to be honest, we're in the final arc now. We're about to get a Shanks thing, family backstory, whatever.
Yeah.
Where's
Finally,
Dragon in this? So like there's so many characters that
now we're about to see what this
Dragon's still on standby.
like. Is your dad a wind logia or is he a wind god? Is he Fujin?
He's a coward. That's what he is. He's a windbag. He's all talk. That's what he is.
So I
But
mean,
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say closing statements to my laptop starting to.
yeah. Well, you
So
looking like you're in the episode of
yeah, so it's looking at my laptop is about that time.